Yeah, good evening. This is another episode of our Shamz-View YouTube channel program. Today I want to talk about fathers. Have you ever considered your father to be a liar when you're growing up? Are fathers really liars? Yes, I considered my father to be one of the greatest liars I've ever met in this life. Okay. Out of the few stories I could remember, there was a time my father actually promised to visit me when I was in Government College Cafe, Nasarawa State. He was in Niger State by the Mina precisely. No, Mokwa precisely. It was our visiting day. He drove down. Unfortunately, I waited for my father. I couldn't see him. I felt so sad. It was on a Saturday. Then on Monday morning, by then later, Ubangari was the principal of Government College Cafe. He now drove down. He was asked to go and call me while I was in school. They called. My dad held me. I said, "Son, I'm sorry. I was supposed to come on Saturday, unfortunately. I'm coming on Monday. I've not actually gone to Akwanga yet. I'm actually here in Kefi to see you first." I said, "Daddy, why do you always like lying? Why?" He said, "No, son. My car got spoiled. I left Mokwa. I passed the night. I was supposed to pass the night in Abuja and then come and see you on Saturday. But my car got spoiled." I was like, "Kai, Daddy, you can lie. You can lie." This was amongst the numerous lies he told me that I perceived as lies. He told me, even far back. There was a time we were supposed to go for Christmas. He said, he will take us for Christmas on the 24th. We never saw our dad, not until 26th. Even when he tried to explain to us, we never believed his story. Thought he was lying. He promised us a lot of things. There were times he even promised to buy us to pay our school fees at a point. Unfortunately, he couldn't pay, but since it was a government school, we were not sent. I was not actually sent. He just spoke with the principal and then. Now, there are so many things that happened. It's either from one story, his car had issues, probably the government delayed his payments. He'll promise us he'll be coming home for weekend and then we will not see him. These were part of the promises. He failed. Even when he was sad, he would come and rub our heads and if we asked Dad, "Are you okay?" He said, "Yes, I'm fine." Because he needed to put those smiles on the face for us. Now, I didn't understand all of this, not until now that I've become an adult. Let me give you a brief story. I started a brand far back in 2015. And I was supposed to have my first meeting with different people. Different people came from different angles. And I told them 4 o'clock, yes. I traveled to Jos, Plateau State. So by all implication, I was supposed to be in Akwanga by 4 p.m. or no, before 4 p.m. Why? Because I left Jos at 5, before 5 a.m. Unfortunately, on our way, we had an accident. I fell into a ditch with my entire family members. We fell into, and 2 of my cousins, we fell into a ditch because the car could not negotiate the brake, or could not match the brake, like around the crossing the rails. We fell into that ditch, more than 20 feet deep around Tahos. People who are aware of that, who knows that region. And everything was fine, no scratch, no nothing. The villagers came out, helped us out. Police came, we pushed the car, we came out, we drove the car, nothing. We drove this car down to Akwanga. So why am I bringing in this story? I got to Akwanga at 5. And I met all the people, they were like, you said you're coming this. You need to keep to time. I said, yes. I had an accident on my way. Who was to even believe me I had an accident? No single scratch on the car. No nothing. But these were viable stories. Some of them would be like, see you. We don't need to start like this. You make some promises, then probably your salaries will be delayed. I was preparing for an event within the shortest period of time, a month or two before my event. I lost my job. And a lot of things were unsettled. We're supposed to pay for a lot of things. I was supposed to meet out with a lot of promises that I've made. But all went down the drain. And I'm sure a lot of people will be like, you too, you can lie. We cannot actually believe where it's actually coming from. I realized that adulthood has exposed a lot of things. That I'm seeing it clearly now. Clearly, that's what I'm seeing. That's what adulthood has done. Our parents put smiles on their faces because they wanted us to be good. I realized that every day that passes by, if you're a struggling young man, you will never get it right. Why? Because as you are solving number one problem, another one is actually coming up. As you're solving that problem, another one is actually coming. And these problems are not little problems, they are bigger problems. Sometimes you find yourself in a pound, and then you get to wonder. You get to think. Now I realized why my father would drive home for a long distance. He would come inside the house and he would spend few minutes, sometimes an hour in the vehicle before you could even come down. Now I'm beginning to understand. Sometimes when I come back from work, the sound of my phone irritates me. Now, men are facing a lot. From societal problems, from environmental problems, and otherwise. Now I see reasons why men are dying on a daily basis. Why we have more widows than widowers. I think there is a need for men to actually take care of their mental health. Trust me, life in most cases is unsettled. But I didn't get to know all of this. Not until adulthood is gradually exposing all of this. And mind you, I don't have kids yet. I wonder how it's going to be like when they start coming. Have a wonderful night rest. Bye-bye. Please like, share, subscribe, and have a wonderful evening.